I want to talk about Metalocalypse, Army of the Doomstar. This is newly released on video on demand. It's also on Blu-ray. It is a movie that is the culmination of the series Metalocalypse. If you're a fan of Metalocalypse on Adult Swim, it's about a band with legions of followers who worship them, and they play speed metal. And I wasn't previously so much a fan of speed metal until this show. It's over the top, it's bizarre. Nathan Explosion is the lead singer. It's kind of his story. It's more focused on him than the other bandmates like Murderface and Toki. I loved this series on Adult Swim. They were 11-minute episodes, each episode. The story would be pretty thin, lots of jokes and funny stuff. There was a lot of swearing, but you'd never hear the swearing. You'd hear sort of a twang on a guitar to kind of, instead of a bleep, they'd have a twang on a guitar to bleep the swearing. And then funny plot story. There was always some thread of some impending apocalypse, a metalocalypse, if you will. And then it would culminate with some sort of music or song that needed to be played to resolve the issue. And I loved it. I love that show in 11-minute doses. It's late night stoner TV on Adult Swim. And I loved the series in particular, mainly because it was my friend, John Schnepp, was one of the directors on the show. And he directed some of the best episodes of the show. I mean, the show was just so crazy and over the top, and it was like over the top about their life as musicians. They had these people that worship them, but somehow the band was connected to like an impending apocalypse. So they wove in conspiracy theories. They had like these characters that would come in. There were incredibly gory deaths and things that happened. I remember watching it. My daughter loved the show. My son actually got really upset at one episode where like this little girl in a wheelchair dies. I mean, you look back on the show, it's so politically incorrect. It's just over the top. Like, I loved it. And the thing that it had that I think that sort of, the thread was the guys in the band really liked each other. I mean, they really like cared for each other, even though they pretended to hate each other. At the end of the day, there was a lot of heart to it. They'd introduce characters and kill them off. It was amazing. So each season kind of had a season thread, which would come to a climax. This movie, unfortunately, I'll say, it's about the metalocalypse that they've, predicted is going to come, is finally here. The world is going to end unless, the band Nathan Explosion can write the song that will end the metalocalypse. There's a big battle at the end. Lots of people die. This is very briefly what the plot is, but a lot of it is sullenly walking around, not being able to write the perfect song. And then they have to, in this bizarre climactic sequence, have to connect giant speakers floating in the air, drone-like. And there's a funny thing where Nathan Explosion has like this plug he's supposed to plug in, and he's riding it like a giant dick, which is kind of funny. And then he plugs it in, and then they sing the song. Okay. But it was missing what I loved about the original series. I mean, it's not, I think this movie, Metalocalypse, Army of the Doomstar, is like, it's like 83 minutes long, or I think it might even be like, it's under 90 minutes, but it lacks what I loved about the series. The series had comedy, and it was completely devoid of that. Took itself very seriously, and the whole thing is Nathan Explosion sullenly walking around, unable to write a song. I expected it just got boring at parts. The ending kind of made up for it. The third act kind of made up for the first 60 minutes, but I was kind of disappointed. I feel like the 11-minute episodes of Metalocalypse, I love them. There are classic episodes. I mean, I will rave on and on about those episodes, but this movie just, to me, was lacking humor. The one thing that happened at the very end that made me smile, at the very end of the movie, the title comes up. The title for the movie comes up. And there's like these legions and throngs of fans, and you see them, they're all animated, and this showed up. That is John Schnepp, who not only the director, one of the key directors of Metalocalypse, my friend John Schnepp, who passed away in 2018. John Schnepp directed some of the key episodes. He designed the characters. So these characters were pitched and whatnot. The guy who's the creator, why am I spacing on his name? The creator of Metalocalypse. It's Brandon Small. So Brandon Small thought up, here are the characters, here are the songs. He wrote the songs, he performed the music. You can see videos of Brandon Small playing guitar live. I mean, it's crazy. I've actually seen the live show, so I've gone to see at the Wiltern Theater. They did this tour. They had the best merch. It was great. You could buy Metalocalypse thong underwear. You could buy not for me, but for someone. T-shirts, cool. I love Metalocalypse. I love the characters, the music. And the sense of humor. What was missing from this was the sense of humor. But Brandon Small hired John Schnepp to design the characters, bring them into real life, and John drew them. He created them, and that's John at the very end of the movie. In a tribute to him, you see him at the very end shaking his fist. And so the third act kind of made up for it, but I really wanted to like it more because I'm a big fan of Metalocalypse. So there you go.
So I mean, what? How did it forget what made it good? Were the originals not involved? Was it John, or was it? It's hard. Yeah,
John definitely brought in heart and humor. John was a fan of the music, but that was Brandon Small. He was the music for Metalocalypse. But I really wanted to like it more. It missed what made the show so popular, right? That's the show was popular for its humor, and they do swear in it, but it's not bleeped. So it doesn't feel like the show. They just swear. Because obviously it's direct to VOD, or DVD. I got the Blu-ray, by the way. But the humor wasn't there, and I miss them swearing, but you didn't hear this. Sometimes not hearing swearing is funnier than actually hearing them say the words.